Greetings, players. It's great to see you on this April Fool's Day in the second State of the Prophet Driller for this year. I have some things to tell you at the moment. The first big picture is the Touhou 5 Mystic Square NES demake. Development is already underway, despite Chuhou Joutai 3 being developed at the same time. Most of the assets for the demake have already been complete. The same engine from the Lotus Land Story demake will be reused in the Mystic Square demake. This was done in an effort to save time and money. One of the biggest challenges will be the cutscenes. I've actually completed the script a few months before development actually began.
That was a monster of writing, and on the week I finished the tutorial for Chuhou Joutai 3, I worked so hard that I went to Pizza Hut as a way to reward myself.
The second thing has to be video editing and live streaming.
For months, I've been having to put up with lag whenever I'm trying to live stream Mario Maker 2 courses on Twitch. In some cases, the video would end up stuttering and going off sync, or in some cases freezing completely. The video editing part would be, for almost a year, my PC would end up crashing whenever I'm trying to render a video, or in some cases while editing in Adobe Premiere. I don't use Pinnacle Studio anymore because it's glitchy, it crashed all the time, and rendering is pathetically slow. I just thought this was a pain in the rear. You can probably understand why a lot of videos I've been making, mostly the PC98 originals and covers lately, are shorter than normal.
I also had another problem with my keyboard earlier this year. A relatively few keys, including my S key and one key on my numpad, were spamming.
Anytime I would push those keys, it would type two of the same thing, and it got awfully annoying. Not to mention I was also having this problem back in the day whenever I would play Minecraft, where you would end up placing two blocks instead of one, usually because of a glitchy mouse driver. The first thing was I figured I would need to remove the keycap and clear out any possible gunk underneath it. I had a keycap remover that came with my previous keyboard that I ordered from Japan last year, but I could not find it. So I had to order one of those more versatile ones from Amazon. It was pretty cheap, costing only $5, plus another $5 for shipping as well as tax. So it cost me roughly $11. I also needed a can of compressed air so that I could blow away the gunk that would be underneath it. Luckily, my father had not one, but two cans of compressed air. Sure, they were old, but I figured they would be effective. When it arrived 2 days later, I removed the keycap and did the cleaning, but the problem came back and occasionally got worse, typing three of the same thing. I ended up getting in touch with Razer technical support via email, leading to me being concerned that I would have to send the device to Razer to have it get serviced, and right when that was about to happen, my S key suddenly worked again like normal.
It turned out that I needed to install a Windows update to rectify the problem, though I still occasionally have this issue at random. I don't know what caused it, but it may have been due to a glitchy keyboard driver or something. Simply put, a small amount of my work hours when I'm not preparing assets or programming is fixing things that go wrong. So I've officially come to the decision that I will be getting a new laptop, and it will not be any PC.
It will be a MacBook, and I will not be having it until mid-May based on Apple's estimated shipping date.
So far, the only Apple products I've owned are an iPod Touch from 2012, as well as 3 iPads from 2013 and 14 respectively, and my current iPad is my 2018 one, which is filming me right now. I will continue to use the Windows computer that you see behind me for game development, and I will only use the MacBook for video editing and live streaming. Getting a Mac will be a whole different experience. I'm used to using Windows, but my now defunct elementary school had Macs, and the graphic design and video editing labs at the university I graduated from last year had Macs as well, so you can basically say I've had some experience with Macintosh computers and its proprietary operating system, Mac OS.
The very first Mac OS version I ever used was System 7, and my first Windows operating system was 3.1. I even set up a Windows 3.1 emulator on my old laptop to bring back some memories.
I almost had a Mac in the early part of the 2010s decade. My family was considering a Mac as their next PC, but it never materialized. I understand that Apple products are on the pricey and expensive side when it comes to most electronics, but it's their technology that stands out. The MacBook that I'm getting will be a MacBook Air, and will have the same specs that my workstation is using right now, including a 1TB solid-state drive and 16GB of RAM.
Although the base model starts at $1,000, adding those specs will result in me jacking up the price to $1,600. And to make matters worse, I ended up including the Apple Magic Mouse alongside a USB-A to C converter, which in turn ends up raising the price to $1,720. Not to mention I will be paying more than $100 in tax. I was planning to get my MacBook at Best Buy, but they didn't have the 1 terabyte model, so I had to get it online through Apple's website. That would be nearly the cost of my old Acer Aspire AX3950 from 2011, which I don't use anymore ever since Microsoft discontinued Windows 7 in 2020, and I haven't turned it on since the day Chuhou Joutai 1 began development in June 2018, just sly of a few weeks after I graduated from high school.
You're probably tired of hearing me talk about computers. What about Chuhou Joutai 3, you may ask? Well, development is going smoothly. As of this video's filming, the demo is almost done, and the base game is halfway complete. I intend on making Chuhou Joutai 3 a Steam exclusive for one reason. First of all, this is to take advantage of the new Steam extension made for GameMaker Studio 2. If you were expecting an itch.io release for the game, you thought wrong. This new extension will also have built-in anti-piracy measures to make the work of pirates much more difficult. Simply put, the DRM for Chuhou Joutai 1 and 2 are cracked in less than a week after their release in May 2020 and July 2021 respectively. This new form of DRM for Chuhou Joutai 3 will always require players to be subscribed to the Steam servers. If you are not, then the game will redirect you to an anti-piracy screen similar to the fake anti-piracy screens that were created for a bunch of Nintendo DS games. I remember back when the Mario Party DS anti-piracy screen surfaced, and many asked Nintendo if their programmers had inserted the screen. Of course, Nintendo would not answer it. Anyway, that's all for this video, and as we watch the days get longer and things get warmer for us here in the Northern Hemisphere, we'll be able to enjoy the warm, fresh air once again. Not if you live in the Southern Hemisphere, where the days for you will get shorter and things get colder. You can probably understand why you won't see any signs of cherry blossoms blooming or autumn foliage. That's because the transition from seasons can take a while. For us here, we can just go out and catch that undefined fantastic object. I hope you're enjoying your spring, or autumn if you live in the Southern Hemisphere.